I think you hit one right
Absolutely.
there with their dating.
Yes.
And my first is, well, who are they dating? Is the person got a background? Is the person got some kind of a history, or something that's an inappropriate person to have your child exposed to? Um, you know, I was going to ask you though, as the private investigator, when you get the calls, what some of the more outlandish or irrelevant things people want you to go look for or try to prove in a child custody case, and you kind of got to put the brakes on and
Right.
tell them, hey, I don't think that's going to move the needle for you.
So we get all kind of stories, but I would say the most common like misconception of about something that would help a child custody case is if they are on a 50-50 parenting plan and the person we're supposed to be watching, the other spouse, does not have the child that week. Outside of breaking the law and being a criminal, the judge probably is not going to care what they do if they're not caring for that child. I have routinely, probably once a week, well, I know he's out drinking this week. I'm like, well, is it his week with the child? Well, no. Well, I don't think the judge is going to care he went to happy hour. Well, it shows that now, and I have to reel him back in. Well, it shows he drinks. Well, it does, but it doesn't show he drinks or endangers the child or takes away from him being a parent on his week or doing what he needs to do. So I would say they're concerned about what the other parent's doing when they don't have the child. Again, outside the scope of just committing crimes is not going to be an influence or a factor in the case to us. If they truly want to pay us to go watch, I can say, well, we got it. Now you may want to talk to your attorney about how you're going to use it because I don't see anything that's going to come out of that.
People often kind of buzz past, as a lawyer, the number one question is how is it relevant?
Right.
What material fact does it prove or disprove? Um, that's kind of got to be the starting point. And what you're saying in lawyers' terms is there's got to be a nexus between the conduct and the child.
Right.
If you and I don't have our kids and we decide that we want to go tie one on at a local bar, and nobody's going to be responsible for kids that day, and the kids are with the mom or out of town or whatever, that's not bad parenting because there's no nexus between the conduct and the child. And I remember our law school professor. This will show you a little bit how old I am and how old he was. Definitely, he said that difference between a good dad and a bad dad in the child custody case was the bad dad left the Playboy magazine on the coffee table, and the good dad put it up and put it under the blanket in the closet. And he was demonstrating the nexus of the kid walking in and seeing something like that, inappropriate material on the coffee table versus putting it away. They both engaged in the same conduct. It's just one shielded the child from the conduct and kept adult topics or adult time separate the parenting time. And that's a big thing. That happens with us all the time too. That I have to remind them what nexus does this have, to the child. And I
Right.
think when you said dating, that often comes up because I have situations where they're dating and they haven't even introduced the child to the new person yet. And I'm like, well, if it's his weekend to be, alone and you have the kids and he's seeing somebody on the weekends, how's that affect the kids?
Yeah.
And you got to show that nexus, and that's critical. And then sometimes I know when I've called you or I've worked with other investigators over the years, I have no doubt the person is drinking.
Right.
I have no doubt that they're drinking all the time. What I need sometimes is the nexus to be proved.
Right.
Have to get some creative way that you're at the restaurant. The PI's at the restaurant. He sees the family come in at the Mexican restaurant, and he's sitting at the bar. And he watches dad drink 5 margaritas, and then walk out to the car, to drive the kids home. And now we have a nexus.